If you pop the hood of a 2026 vehicle, you do not see an engine. You see a wall of plastic. And if you try to remove that plastic, you are met with a financial nightmare. Tamper-proof screws, digital padlocks, and components that are legally sealed shut. We are witnessing the death of the driveway mechanic. But this is not an accident. It is a coordinated war on your wallet. Manufacturers want to turn every car owner into a lifelong tenant. They have sealed the hood, they have locked the software, and now they are charging you $200 an hour just for the privilege of fixing your own property. In this investigation, we are going to expose the manufacturers waging this war and exactly how they made your own truck illegal to repair. We will show you why the hood of your truck is now a crime scene, and most importantly, we will reveal the only two options you have left if you want to avoid becoming a tenant in your own vehicle. Here is exactly how they stole your truck. In the old days, if a window switch broke, you went to a junkyard, paid $5, and plugged in a new one. It was simple copper and plastic. Today, if you plug a new switch into a modern Ford or Chevy, it will not work. The truck will reject it. Why? Because the manufacturers have put a digital serial number inside the switch. When you install the part, the main computer scans it. If that number does not match the factory list, the computer locks the system. The part is perfectly fine. The mechanics are fine, but the computer refuses to let it work. To unlock it, you have to tow the truck to the dealership. You have to pay them 1 hour of labor just to plug in a laptop and tell the truck that the new switch is allowed to exist. They have digitized the wrench and they kept the password for themselves. This is not about safety. It is about killing the used parts market and forcing you to buy new, overpriced components directly from the dealer. But before they locked the software, they locked the hardware. Manufacturers call it value engineering. We call it a blockade. On a modern truck, simple maintenance has become a geometric impossibility. Take the headlight bulb. On a 1990 Silverado, it took 30 seconds and a screwdriver. On a modern truck, you often have to remove the entire plastic wheel well liner or disassemble the front grille just to reach the bulb. On many German cars, they have deleted the transmission dipstick entirely. You cannot check your own fluid level. You have to trust a sensor on the dashboard. When that sensor fails, you do not just buy a sensor, you buy a whole new transmission. But the worst offender is the cab off repair. On modern Ford Super Duty trucks, the engine is packed so tightly into the bay that for many major repairs, the mechanic has to lift the entire cab of the truck off the frame. What used to be a Saturday afternoon job in the driveway is now a $4,000 labor bill. Why? You cannot change a gasket without a $10,000 commercial vehicle lift. They claim this is for aerodynamics and packaging. That is a lie. They want you to look at that cramped plastic-covered engine bay, feel overwhelmed, and hand over your credit card. You might think, at least I can still change my own battery. Think again. On many modern vehicles, including BMW and Ford, the car has a battery management system. If you buy a battery at an auto parts store and install it yourself, the car will not recognize it. The alternator will treat the new battery like the old, dying battery. It will overcharge the battery and destroy your new $200 battery in a month. To fix this, you have to register the battery to the car's computer. How do you do that? You have to go to the dealership and pay them a ransom to click a button. They have turned the simplest maintenance task into a subscription fee. You cannot talk about this without talking about patient zero, John Deere. Farmers were the first victims of this war. They spent $500,000 on a tractor, but if a $50 sensor failed in the field, the machine would brick itself. The farmer could physically replace the sensor in 10 minutes with a wrench, but the software would not recognize it until a dealer drove out to the farm to bless it with a laptop. Farmers were left stranded during a harvest, losing thousands of dollars an hour, waiting for a dealership to grant them permission to use their own property. The auto industry saw how profitable this was, and they copied it immediately. Now your truck goes into limp mode, not because it is broken, but because a sensor reading is slightly out of range, and the manufacturer wants you to visit the service center. The goal is not just repair revenue, it is extortion. Manufacturers have realized they do not make enough money selling you the car once. They want to sell it to you every month. One example, BMW tried to charge customers $18 a month to use the heated seats that were already installed in the car. Toyota tried to charge a subscription for the remote start function on the key fob. Think about the arrogance of that. You bought the seat, you own the heating element, you own the key fob, but they put a digital toll booth between you and your property. This is not manufacturing, this is theft. They are trying to turn the automobile into a service, just like Netflix, and if you stop paying, they can turn off your features remotely. So is the driveway mechanic dead? Not yet, but he is being forced underground. We are seeing a massive rise in the black market for repairs. Farmers are buying hacked firmware from Ukraine to jailbreak their tractors. Mechanics are buying bootleg diagnostic software to bypass dealership locks. People are keeping 20-year-old trucks on the road at any cost, just to avoid buying a computer on wheels. Here is the verdict. If you buy a 2026 vehicle, you do not own it. You are merely the primary user of a data collection device that is owned by the corporation. They control the software, they control the parts, and they control the repair. If you want to own your vehicle, you have two choices. First, support the right to repair legislation in your state. Second, buy an older analog vehicle. Buy a truck where the hood opens to reveal an engine, not a plastic cover. Buy a car where the window switch is just a switch, not a computer node. The war on do-it-yourself is real. They have sealed the hood, they have locked the software, but they cannot take away your ability to choose. Reject the ransom. Keep the old iron running, and never let them tell you that you are not allowed to fix what you own.